we know have been foreclosed.
Good morning, everybody. Sell a House Wholesale Real Estate Trading number 133 today on a beautiful new op day, June 29th. Let's see, June, let's use July, August, September, October, November, December. We are 2 days away from 2015 being half done. Are you kicking tail out there or are you dragging ass? John, I'm dying for my shake. Take this for a few minutes because I'm going to go blend this thing up. I'm going to put myself on mute, though, so you don't hear the blender.
Gotcha. He's dying for his power shake. You know what? It is the end of the second quarter. It's unbelievable how quickly this year has flown by already. You freaking realize we're already halfway through. And as Paul said, are you out there crushing it or are you out there dragging your ass through the mud? It's a good time halfway through the year to kind of hit the reset button and reflect on what has been going on in your life for the last 6 months. What does everybody do right at the beginning of the year? A New Year's resolution. And as we've talked about on prior hangouts to this, New Year's resolutions rarely, if at all, ever work for anybody. You're talking about most people who proclaim they have a New Year's resolution. It's a new habit that they're trying to form. It's a new way of living that they're trying to accomplish. And what most people do is they're really motivated. The ball drops. They're cheering. They're singing the song. Everything. Everybody's really quite the same. And you start that year with all these goals and all these intentions in mind and these New Year's resolutions. And how many of you have stuck to that? Ask yourself that question because it's right at the end. As Paul said, 2 days left and we're halfway through the year. Why don't we have rather than making a New Year's resolution, we should be making a life resolution and reaffirming that resolution every single day. But every couple months, you got to reflect and look back on what you've accomplished since the last time you set goals. And if you have goals, you should be writing them down. Or a New Year's resolution, you should be writing it down. So this way you can go back, look at the last 6 months of your journals and your notes and, okay, this is what I said I was going to do, and this is where I wanted to be in 6 months, and how many of you actually really are there. And I'm going to speak very personal here in a minute. And looking back over the last 6 months, I actually was intending on being even further ahead, further along than where I am right now. I am someone that I had, as Paul and I discussed right at the beginning of the year, we kind of came up with a way to build a life plan for yourself, a success plan. We showed that in a lot of hangouts, all the moving pieces. And that was integral in us building this wholesale real estate system where we're putting 19 deals in escrow about every 6 weeks. We're averaging 19 deals in escrow, and that's a huge accomplishment, something that we set forth. I bought a new car on Thursday, first new car I bought in 12 years because I have been able to create the system with my business, make the money that I intended. But you know what? I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. So I'm not exactly where I was hoping to be at this exact stage. But the great thing now is that I'm going to go ahead and we can reflect on where we are and where we were. And now that we're halfway through the year, we can go, all right, I've been dragging my ass a little bit. I'm not exactly where I want to be. But hey, this year isn't over yet. So I better get into freaking super high gear and make up for the last 6 months if I haven't been doing what I'm supposed to have been doing. So I'm just welcoming everyone to the Hangout, Paul, wishing them a happy new op day. It's the beginning of a whole new session. It's my favorite day of the strong, as I say, every session after session, because it's a new opportunity. There's a whole strong of possibilities ahead of us. I'm still trying not to use the old word.
No, it's tough. It's not something that just flows naturally. I mean, it's ingrained into your brain for 30-something plus years. You know what I mean? Into mine for more than 50 years. But it's just it's something that just wants to keep coming out, and you have to catch yourself. And you know what? That's That's actually right there. Something so simple as just trying to use a different word for something that you've used all your life. That is how difficult it is to do that, how often you have to think about that. That reflects exactly right back into you wanting to do something new. You want to do something different in your life. You want to change your life. You want to become a better person. You want to do, wholesale real estate that you've never done. You want to achieve success that you've never had before in your life. That very same concept right there of just changing one word in your vocabulary that you've had your whole life, the difficulty that you see in that, that's how difficult it is for you to, and then again too, let me rephrase that. That's also how, that's how difficult, but it's also, that's how simple it is for you to make that change. But it doesn't just happen like that, okay? You don't just freaking flip a switch and all of a sudden you're not saying week anymore and you're saying session. It doesn't happen that way. You have to continually think about it over and over and over again. Every time that word starts to come out of your mouth, you got to stop yourself. Eventually, after you do it enough times, it's going to happen naturally, and that other word will be gone, and you'll have it completely replaced with the new word. And same thing with your success programming. You start working on that, and but you have to think about it every time, because you're going to be so very often falling into wanting to do the same old things that you were doing before that got you to where you are now, which is not where you want to be. Places that you want to be are going to take new things, and you have to replace the old things with the new things, and it takes time to do that. That's, I mean, it's difficult. It takes time because you have to think about it. But that's the hardest thing that you have to do, is think about it, okay? You think about it, you do it enough times, then you won't have to think about it anymore. It's just like tying your shoe. When you learned how to tie your shoe, you had to think about it. You didn't know how to tie a shoe, but you had to think about it. Every time you went to tie your shoe, you had to think about it. Oh, over this way, the bunny in the hole, whatever system you used. And, and then all of a sudden one day, you got up in the morning, you grabbed your shoes, you didn't even think nothing about it, you just tied your shoes, and from that day on, you never thought about it ever again. Awesome stuff.
Awesome stuff. It's awesome, awesome, awesome stuff. The old saying, Rome wasn't built in a day. You can't expect to want to, and this kind of falls back with what I was introducing this hangout with New Year's resolutions. You can't expect to form a new habit or start a new business or make a major life change and expect it to just be something that's easy, that once you make the decision and you're aware that you want to make this change, that all of a sudden it's going to come so natural to you that you don't have to think about it anymore. No, you know what? You're going to have to plod through the trenches, and every part of you is going to be trying to resist. Your mind's going to be coming up with every excuse in the world why it can be put off till tomorrow, because it comes down to comfort level and where you feel comfortable and where your comfort zone level is. And as Paul was saying right there, it's like tying your shoe. When you first learn how to tie your shoe, you had to think about it. And there's the whole little nursery rhyme about, there's the hole, the bunny comes out, goes around the tree, goes back in, loops around, you have this whole little thing. And it's difficult, and you have to constantly think about it and you probably don't even remember, you were a kid, how to tie your shoe. And now as adults, I don't even have to look at the shoe. I can be doing this hangout, my hands can be down here on the shoe, and boom, it's tied, and I'm walking out the door, and I'm like, oh shit, I don't even remember putting my shoes on. Because once something becomes ingrained in you, and you become unconsciously competent in that habit or in that respect. So, there's kind of a process to learning things here, and you can't expect that something new is just going to fall into place and be understood, and you're going to feel 100% comfortable with it right out the gate. You're going to have to do a little work, mainly on yourself, to keep convincing yourself and pushing yourself forward with I can do it, until you've done it so many times that you just do it without thinking about it anymore. And that's kind of where we're at with our wholesale real estate business. Is we've created a system that we've been aware that it started off with the awareness that we needed to have a system in place. with no clue how to build it, no clue how to do anything. That we were consciously aware that we had a problem to overcome. Then we became consciously competent once the system started working to be like, all right, we got to do A, B, and C, and we got to stay on top of A, B, C, to now where it's starting to have ingrained itself, where now we're just running the system and we're not really thinking about it as much anymore as we used to. There's still some bugs to be hashed out. It's not perfect yet, I'll admit, but you become unconsciously competent in the things that you do.
Exactly. And there's another step in there. I'm trying to listen to you and think about it at the same time, so I'm skipping that. But you know, there is a process, and it's a 4-step process. And like John said, you start out. This is the big thing. This is where most people are today, is in a level called unconscious incompetence. You have no idea. You're unconscious. You don't have any idea that you don't even know. You don't even know that you don't even know. You know what I mean? There's things out there that you've never heard of, you don't know about, and until you do, you don't know anything about them. You're unconsciously incompetent. Like the whole tie your shoe thing. When you were a little kid running around barefoot for the first 3 years of your life, you didn't even know you were supposed to be wearing shoes, right? Nobody showed you had to wear shoes. You had no idea. Then somebody said, "Hey, you're 3 years old. You got to start wearing shoes." Well, shoot, I didn't know I had to wear shoes. Now you become consciously, where are you at now? I don't know, but anyway, this is where you begin. That's the awareness thing. All of a sudden, hey, I just became aware that I got to wear shoes, and now I got to learn how to tie these shoes. And then you're continually doing that until you get to the unconscious incompetence, or the unconscious competence level, where you don't even have to think about it. You just do it, like John says. You don't have to kneel down. You don't have to look at it. You know, you can wrap your foot back around your back leg somewhere and tie it over here over your shoulder if you could, without even looking at it, because it's just you just do it. So one thing, this is actually a very, very cool way to. I just thought of this on this hangout right here, right now. This is really an awesome way to get your thought process started towards making the kinds of changes in your life and physically applying them, because words are something that, you know, come out of your mouth a lot, all day long, and you hear everything that comes out of your mouth, and that goes, words and hearing words is one of the most picked up on things by our brains. So if you pick a word, and I would suggest a word for you, and I would suggest the word session or strong session to replace the word weak, and new op day if you like. Pick out one word in your vocabulary that you use all the time on a regular basis, unconsciously competent about it. It just happens. You don't even think twice about it. That's just something that you say. Hello is another one. You know, get rid of hello and start saying something else. Just say, you know, or good morning. That's another one. But just take one of these words and try to replace that in your daily routine, and just see how this process works. This is a great way to get a physical experience with the process of, you know, transforming your success life, so to speak, from what it is now that's gotten you to where you are now that you're not happy with, to what you need to change to get to where you want to be. And it just gives you a great, you know, personal interactive feeling of what it actually takes to do that, so that you can then say, okay, hey, I got this idea over here, like John says with our real estate business, that, you know, this system that we have in place. You know, at first we're like, hey, we need a system, right? We figured that out. We created a system. Well, we still had to work the system and all of that, but we kind of got this whole process that's like, okay, now we're working the system. We need to improve the system. It needs to get better and better and better. And so it just gives you a whole sort of like a hands-on feeling about how you progress from one step to the next along the way.
Absolutely. There's so much in there that you just said, Paul, that, you know, basically the only thing that I want to reiterate in what you said is that you've got to just, I don't know, like you said it all. Like I'm kind of
just do it, you know. But that's the whole thing. That's why, like I said,
I want to throw in one thing. You know, what you said about think about one word that you use regularly that might be kind of negative that you can change, and just realize how deeply ingrained into your mind that is. It's funny because this was actually pointed out to me in the most unlikely of places years ago. But every time someone says, "Hey, John, man, how you doing today?" I'd say, "Pretty good, pretty good." Why don't I say fucking awesome or excellent or I'm great? And I was working at his paint company about 10 years ago now at this point, and this weirdo guy, another guy named John, always used to just tease me about it. He's like, "Pretty good." I'm like, "Man," and he'd say, "Man, you're the most depressing guy I know." And I'm like, "Why? What do you mean? I'm doing pretty good today." He's like, "Pretty good." He's like, "That's depressing." And I'm like, yeah, maybe he's right. I never really thought about it before. Yeah. So just think about those little things. And it might even come from like somebody else points it out to you, and then really take notice of what third-party perspective is telling you on things.
I do that to people. I do that to people all the time at the store and stuff. "Hey, how's it going?" "Oh, okay." "Yeah. Oh, good." "Really? Just okay? Really? Just good? What's wrong with your day?" You know. I do that to people all the time. And, "Oh, check this out. I came up with this. Is not real estate related at all. This has changed the world." Okay, we all want to change the world, right? We all want to make this place a better place. I stopped at a little Mexican restaurant the other day for lunch, yesterday, in fact, for a little ceviche tostada, and it just so happened that at the table next to me was two boys, I think a mother and father and a friend, another woman, and it was one of the boys' birthday. I didn't realize this until, you know, towards the end. I was just getting ready to leave, but they started bringing up the birthday thing, and then they brought out the little piece of cake and all that. But I was sitting there and I thought, you know, I should just let, you know, a stranger out of the blue, right? I should just get up when I'm getting ready to leave and just say, "Hey guys, I understand we have a birthday at the table. Would you mind if I give the birthday boy a present?" Right? And just, I was going to give him $10, right? I didn't do it because I actually started thinking about something else, but I kept thinking about that throughout the day, and it's like, you know what? Forget. I mean, this is a great idea, but it's way better than that. Way better than just giving the kid $10, right? Here's the thing. "Hey, Mom and Dad, you excuse me for interrupting, but I hear that we have a birthday over here. Whose birthday is it? Would you mind if I give, you know, the birthday boy or girl a gift?" You know, stranger, they're like, "Well, I'm sure they're going to be like, oh, I suppose so, you know, whatever." And you'd be like, "Okay, well, I'd like to give you a gift, you know, whose birthday is it, blah, 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 a little small talk. What's your name, son, blah, 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 you know what I mean? How old are you? Okay, well, listen, I have a gift for you. I'd like to give you that, but I'll only give it to you if you'll make a promise that you will keep this gift forever." Okay? And then the kid would be like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'll promise. I guess, you know, would you be do you think you would be willing to make that promise?" Okay, don't commit him right now. "Do you think you'd be willing to make that promise?" "Well, yeah, I might, I guess. Well, it depends on what it is. You know how kids are, right?" Say, "Okay, well, this is the gift that I'd like to give you." And you reach in your pocket, you pull out $10. And you're like, "I'd like to give you this $10, but I'm only going to give it to you if you will make a promise, not to me, but a promise to yourself, that you're going to keep this $10 forever." They'd be like, "What good is that? And like, what good is $10 if I can't do anything with it?" Well, if I can show you how you never spending this $10 can be far more valuable than you just going out and spending this $10, would you then be willing to make the promise that you will keep it forever? Okay, I guess so. But how can you do that without spending it? You know, okay, well, this is what I want you to do. You're going to take this $10. You're not going to go put it in the bank and save it forever. You're not going to give it to Mom and Dad to hold on to it for you. What I want you to do with this $10 bill is I want you to take it home. I want you to put it in your room. I want you to put it somewhere where you can see it all the time, where you can pick it up and touch it and smell it, crinkle it and hear it, do all those things. And it's right there for you to see all the time. And every time you see this $10 bill or you touch this $10 bill, I want you to think, how can I turn this $10 bill into $100 bill. And then eventually, you know what? You're going to come up with an answer. You're going to figure out a way that you can turn this $10 bill into a $100 bill. And once you do that, then I want you to do it again and again and again, and you will grow up to be a very happy man. Well, now, do you think you would be willing to make that promise that you will never spend this $10 bill, that you will keep this $10 bill forever? Okay, I'd be willing to make that promise. All right, right now in front of everybody, let's do this out loud. Will I, Jimmy Johnson, you say these words out loud in front of everybody, so we all know that you're making this promise to yourself. I, Jimmy Johnson, promise that I will never spend this $10 bill, that I will have it for the rest of my life. Okay, great. And that I will think about a way, I will find a way to turn this $10 bill into a $100 bill. And make that promise to yourself. I promise myself that I will do this.
That's pretty awesome.
Isn't that cool? I don't know. It's just that little birthday thing. I said I was going to I was just going to, out of the blue as a stranger, you know, offer the kid $10, and then I just been thinking about that all overnight, and then just like all this stuff just kind of unfolded as like, this is, I mean, how many entrepreneurs can we launch in this world just by doing that?
Yeah, no, true. How many? And
and then the final thing.
Seeing the parents' reaction if some guy came up and said that to their kid, they'd be like, he's crazy. You can't just think about things and all of a sudden get an answer.
No, but then the final thing, right, is like, okay, hey, mom and dad, look, here's my business card. I'd like you to do me a huge favor. Give me a call. I'd love to know when and especially how little Jimmy turned this $10 bill into a $100 bill. So get mom and dad involved too with it. You know?
So yeah, no, that's great stuff. I would have loved to hear if you actually went through it, what the people's reaction, how they would have reacted to that.
I didn't go through it yesterday. Like I said, I didn't really actually think of all that right at the time. I was actually just thinking of saying, hey, you know, just out of the blue, giving the kid $10 for his birthday. You know what I mean? But I didn't do that either, because I was like, why should I give the kid $10?
Who the hell is this guy?
I'm just thinking. I was just thinking, why should I give this kid $10? He just could go blow it on something stupid. And that's what got me thinking about that. You know, I was like, well, why? Ouch. Then after I left, I was like, well, why should I give the kid $10? Right? It's his birthday, right? So that was just bouncing through my brain all night, and then I came up with that whole launching entrepreneurs.
I like it. And speaking of launching entrepreneurs, I think this would be a good time to urge people to send Paul and I a message at propertynoodlers@gmail.com and connect with us. Especially, you know, doesn't matter what level you are, how many deals you flipped. If you're a wholesaler and you have deals to sell, please contact Paul and I, because we have money and we're looking for deals to buy. If you're a wholesaler or you're someone who's aspiring to be a wholesaler, you want to learn this business from a guy with brilliant ideas like that, way to launch entrepreneurs off a $10 bill, you should definitely send us a message and get with us, and maybe we can help launch you and show you how to go out there and actually get some deals. This is just a perfect opportunity to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to send these guys an email at propertynoodlers@gmail. Let them know who I am. Let them know what I do, and see if we can't do business in some way together.
Yeah. Come on board with us, and we'll show you how to turn $100 bills into $1,000 bills. How's that sound?
Literally. You know, it's funny, a $100 bill into $1,000 bills, or, you know, into $1,000. We'll show you how to open escrow with $10 to $100 on control a property for less than 30 days and sell it for our average profits right now, probably somewhere in the ballpark of $15,000, $16,000 a deal. To me, that's pretty damn good, because we're doing a minimum of 19 of them every 60 days. So that's good money.
That is awesome money. It's going to be even better money when some of these excited entrepreneurial people send us an email and we bring some more team members on board, because we have room for more team members right now. And I mean, the bigger we can get this, the more money everybody can make. That's the bottom line. So with that, I don't know. This was kind of a fun hangout today. I enjoyed this.
Yeah, I've got nothing really to add. There's really no time to take it in another direction. So why don't you go ahead and give your final thought and close us out of here?
My final thought for today is you yourself need to launch your ass as a new entrepreneur. And why not go the next time you're at a birthday party for, maybe it's one of your kids' friends. Why not start launching entrepreneurs to change the future of this world, the future of this country, the future of this world? I don't know. I think it's a great idea. I'm actually going to find, the next time I'm in a restaurant and I hear there's a little kid with a birthday, especially, if they're like between the ages of, I think, like 8 and 12. I think that's really probably a heavily influential time for, monetary lessons, is during those. Maybe before that, maybe they don't really get it too much, but I think between those ages, maybe even after 12, maybe it's too late, maybe they're already ingrained into that spending habit. They'll promise anything if they can get their hands on $10. They go out and blow it on a new set of earrings or something. You know what I mean? So I think between the ages of 8 and 12, I think is a real good time to be putting that on the kids and getting their minds to thinking along entrepreneurial ways. So that's my final thought, John.
My final thought is you want to if you have kids, you should start from the day they're born and to encourage them, to teach them, to, promote them to think outside the box. You should be involved in your children's lives to what are they learning what bullshit are they learning in school, and how could you overcome that crap at home? And with that being said, think about your own mind, being that you were once a child. So just as your kids are learning bullshit out there and they're taking in the things that you say, so you got to be careful not to say bullshit to your children. You were once that kid too. So all of us have been programmed and ingrained with these bad habits and inaccurate thinking since the day we were born. And you know what? It doesn't matter if you're 37 or 50 years old, it's never too late to change your life. So as we said, it's 6 months into the year. We're going into the third quarter. Think about where you are compared to where you wanted to be when this year started, and become aware of who you are, where you are, and take the necessary actions. So now that we're in the final stretch here of this year, we can go out there and really crush it and make a difference and get to where we planned on being 6 months ago. So go ahead and say the prayer and take us home.
Oh, universe, I ask not for more riches, but for more wisdom, please, to make better use of the riches that were given to me at birth, consisting of the power to control and direct my own mind to whatever end I might desire. All right, everybody, have a wonderful new op day. Go out there and find yourself a new op, and we will see you back here in the middle of the session.